Welcome back to Mindustry Hardcore. This is Planetary Launch Terminal, the penultimate level of Mindustry. This map was recently revamped in the V8 beta, and it's much more difficult than before. The premise is simple: use high-tier naval units to destroy the base. But as you will soon see, this level is very hard, even harder than weathered channels. I'm going to locally produce a lot of resources here, even with launch pads. The T5 units are so expensive that just launch pads aren't enough to consistently make them. There's quite a lot of resources here, so that shouldn't be a huge issue. For our defenses, we are going to be mostly using specters and fuses. Unlike in weathered channels, there isn't a need for obscene amounts of damage every wave, so swammers aren't necessary. We also have a thorium source here, so the ammo is renewable, and our support units will help us with the longer kill times. Aside from that, it really is just about resource and unit production. Just keep making the units, and eventually we'll win. But there's something I haven't gone into yet. At the very start of the level, we are given 6 minutes to build up our base. This is way longer than any other starting prep time in the game. So you may be wondering, what's up with such a long prep time? Well, let's get into that right now. After the grace period, the waves slowly escalate every 10 minutes, up until they're absolutely insane. We are currently in the first active period, which contains ground units. We can still chill here and set up stuff like the T5 constructor I just finished. I will also use this time to set up cryofluid, which the T5 units need a lot of. In hindsight, I probably should have built a little further out for more space. I guess I can do it next attempt. When you're just 20 minutes in, the second period starts, and Horizons start trying to bomb your factory. Did I mention that naval units also start spawning at the first active period? Well, they do, and I didn't know this on my first attempt. So this happened. What a way to start off your first attempt. This is definitely gonna be difficult. Nearly losing just like that. I guess we found out why the grace period is so long. Because of our trash start, we are now out of resources. Oh boy, this is gonna be a nightmare. And they started making my defense useless. Seriously, what the hell is this? If you couldn't tell, my base is a mess. Like, how is coal getting into the surge belt? Let's also stop those sneaky novas earlier. Wait a minute. My T5 constructor is facing the wrong way. They can't exit out, it's useless. Oh, and you can't transport T4 units in payload conveyors. I guess here will do. Oh well, we can always build this later. For now, let's add defenses. I don't want to lose because of this choke point. And yet, we still don't have enough resources to fully build this. We actually managed to recover. Our T5 constructor is now up and running, though our cryofluid shortage is slowing things down a bit. Oh, they weren't connected. Now the constructor is running much better. Things are going smoothly. Never mind, we ran out of thorium. This one starting thorium drill is our only saving grace. And that's our first Omura. They're essentially moving foreshadows, and these are what we will use to beat this level. They not only serve as our main DPS in attacking, but also good defense against later Guardians. Overdrives get buffed with phase fabric, so let's feed them some. The container helps with not having to constantly hand feed it. I thought I had enough Omuras by now, so I decided to stop inputting resources into the constructor. Keep in mind that by this point, I still hadn't set up surge phase launch pads, so I could still only make a few T5s. I only had to make one more Omura, and then I'd be set. But then... But who cares, 2 T4s versus 2 T5s? The real threat is how much damage they can deal before we can take them down. At least that one didn't do too much. It was stuck between a ton of swarmers. But that won't be the case for the upcoming ones. I know I haven't been talking about it much, but we are now at the 4th active period. At this point, all 3 types of enemies have now been buffed, and they will only get stronger from here. At this point, all that's left to do is wait for your units and hold out for as long as possible. Look, a scepter just appeared, followed by a swarm of horizons and zeniths to take a chunk out of my front line. My polys also got killed off earlier, and I destroyed my poly factory for more space, so I have to rebuild all the damage by myself. It might sound ironic, but the hardest part of the hardest attack map yet is the defense part. And it might not be obvious now, but trust me, this will become a recurring theme throughout this video. At this point, we have reached the first overall escalation, which basically buffs everything a bit. These escalations by themselves aren't too crazy, but there's multiple of them as you can see here, so they add up a lot over time. So I might have forgotten something. There's multiple Guardians here, and they're all tier 5s. The first one, as you can see here, are Toxopids. The same ones we got on Mycelial Bastion. We already have a bunch of portable foreshadows and a pretty good defense. We should be able to defend. I mean, look, it can already defend 4 Antumbras with relative ease. We should be fine. Here they are, let's see how this goes. Yeah, easily defendable, huh? It's okay, it's only our first attempt. We can always improve. Plus, we can rebuild the destroyed blocks that I spent an hour configuring, so it'll be easy to rebuild. Wait, what? Why are there no ghost blocks? Don't tell me. No way. It resets every loss. I have to spend an hour every attempt rebuilding the base from scratch. This is going to be much harder than I thought. I guess I should start building. We are back to using impact reactors. They're going to be essential, especially with the amount of power we're going to be using later on. We are finally using launch pads. For now, we're gonna be launching silicon, plastanium, graphite, and titanium. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. And this time, we're actually building it on the correct spot. We're kinda running low on lead, though. The grace period is about to end. Let's see how our second attempt goes. And now for the MVP for this sector. Force projectors will protect us from air bombardment and overall give us an extra shield for naval units. With all of the essentials set up, it's time to start making units again. And now that we set up our defenses further, we shouldn't have a ton of issues anymore. You might be wondering, why the hell did everything change? Well, funny story. I was doing some random stuff at weathered channels for a bit. Now, since we are at the beta, things are a little buggy. Even though I was in another sector for like 5 minutes, I still lost this sector. So yeah, I had to rebuild all of this again. I skipped that section since it's boring. So let's continue with our scheduled programming. Now, I could have easily just used Omuras and win, but to be honest, that was a bit boring for me, so I decided to also make the Navanax, the T5 naval support unit. This way, we can absolutely demolish their base. Or at least, that's what I thought. It's time to go to our first adventure. You really could be doing this a little better, playing Skelly. You can't just lose an Omura like that. We really need plastanium, but we haven't found the resources for production. We can't even make repair turrets due to a lack of it. And once again we lost, this time to that dreaded choke point. This is my third attempt at this point, and I still haven't gotten that close. It's clear that I'm doing something wrong. In this attempt, I stopped making units due to lack of phase and Sir. There just isn't enough resources for production of them. So why don't we import it? With this, we can make as many units as we want. I also modified my core schematic to support core unloading and polys. With this, we'll have an easier time building our base while not sacrificing poly production. It's time to go. We ran out of graphite. This is awkward. Very awkward. We've made so many improvements. Let's talk about them after the fade. First, we have doubled our power production from last time. We now have 2 impact reactors, and we can add more, so our power problem is now almost certainly solved. The main improvement is our defense, and it is miles ahead of our previous defense. There are now force projectors absolutely everywhere, which defends very well against all types of units. Aside from that, there are many more fuses around the shoreline to defend from air and naval units. The poly factory also helps a lot with maintaining the defense. Our factory is more efficient overall, and our cryofluid supply is enough to keep up with the unit constructors. Technically, all that's left to do now is to build the units and attack. It could use some improvements. That looks so daunting. They have foreshadows here too. Making some extra phase fabric, because why not? Can we appreciate just how far we have come? I remember when we had to face T4 units and freaking out about it, but now we are just casually defending against 3 scepters. This kind of improvement is the result of 4 months of this journey. For those who have been here since the first episode, thank you so much. But even if you're late to the journey, you can still join by subscribing. It keeps me going. What I discover next would be my most major discovery yet. Oil patches. And because of those oil patches, we can make plastanium locally. It has been a quiet bottleneck since the start, and it's been taking up a launch pad for the longest time now. If we ever have to restart, we can produce plastanium now, making things so much easier. And just as I mentioned it, we're out of plastanium. We can't make more T5 units because of this, an issue that will be solved when we produce plastanium locally. As you saw right there, our units are now incredibly powerful. These should be enough to slowly chip away at the base. Before that though, it's time to face our demons. Absolutely incredible, let's keep going. Though I did lose an Omura in that fight. Let's try finding the outer enemy core here. I went the wrong way. I should have gone a little further up. But I didn't know this, and my lack of knowledge will haunt me and you for the rest of this video. But oh well, let's just focus on what's currently happening here. This group was gonna be hard for our defense, so let's kill them ourselves. Let's try taking down the upper base. For this, we will strategically use our Omuras with distance to slowly eat away at the base. We will use the flares that Omuras make to reveal fog of war. Units are really dumb sometimes. But that doesn't even compare to what happens next. Yes, that's right, the entire power system went out. And with that comes a death timer. Do you see these two Navanaxes dealing with this choke point? Well, they aren't invincible, and they need power to heal. And if they die, the choke point gets overrun, and we lose the sector. That's where the timer comes in. If we don't beat the sector before the Navanaxes die, it's all over. So let's give it our best shot, shall we? Let's try to find an opening. But we have to deal with more Guardians. This time it's from our own kin. We have a lot more of the same unit, so we should beat them out. These bad boys are still super tanky though. Imagine if we only had our turrets to kill these guys, it would take forever. It's time to go back to looking for an entrance, but judging by how playing Skelly is playing, it seems as if we are already quite close. And here it is, it's a very small gap, just big enough to fit through. We do have to destroy the walls though. That should be easy enough. And oh my god, that's a lot of zeniths. It's light work though. We are now officially in. We just have to get all our units in and it's game. It's taking a while, but that's okay. Wait, why are you all coming back? Are you really just gonna leave your units there to die? Oh! The Navanax died so quickly. The death timer went by much faster than I expected. And after 3 attempts, we are still here. Is the pain we experienced on weathered channels going to repeat itself?